We've all been there before. Been a bit for me. First date jitters, a cold sweat just before a job interview, or what about those foot in mouth moments? Well, thankfully, help is here. Etiquette expert Christy Spencer from The Polite Company joins us with practical do's and don'ts when it comes to first dates and job interviews. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's always fascinating to have you. You always bring such insight into the right etiquette and the right way to do things. And I think you can't hear it enough, right? So let's just dive into this fascinating subject. Why do first dates and job interviews actually have a lot in common?
Well, when you're going on that first date or going on the job interview, your goal is to make a good impression. That means looking your best, smelling your best,
Yeah.
having your attention on the other person. You're also wanting to see in that first date and that job interview if there's any chemistry. So it's not just a one-way street, it's if you're a good fit for the company as well as them for you. And then I think your overall goal is to get that second date or to
Right.
get that second interview. Don't go to a job interview expecting to get hired on the spot, just like you're not going to get married on your first date.
That's a good way to think about it, right? I would never would have paired those two together, but the way you put it seems so natural. What are the most important tips that you have for both of these kind of different areas?
Number one, be on time. Now, for a date, that might mean arriving 5 minutes ahead of time. For a job interview, that means getting to the interview 15 minutes ahead of time, maybe sitting in your car or standing, getting some fresh air for a little while, and then walking in about 10 minutes before the interview is set to start.
I was going to ask what, is there too eager? Can you appear too eager if you get there too early? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Not only are you appearing too eager, but you're kind of messing up the interviewer's schedule.
Yeah.
Because now they've got this person in the lobby who's a half hour early. We're all nice people. We don't want to keep people waiting. But then, our schedule for the day is a little bit changed then.
So that's the big tip,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Get there a little bit early, get ready to go. How much should you talk and how much should you listen? And is that the same for a first date and for a job interview?
I think if you can aim for 60-40, so if you can talk 40% of the time and listen 60% of the time, that's a good ratio. If you are in either situation and you've been talking for a long time, you might try to signal yourself to ask a question. It might be time to open it up to the other person. So think about 60-40. Maybe that second date, that second interview is more of a 50-50 kind of situation.
Oh, interesting. Okay. What are maybe some common mistakes that happen on both first dates and job interviews? What have you seen or heard?
I think people can bring up negative things or negative relationships. So on the first date, we're not going to talk about our exes. In that first interview, we're not going to talk about all of the difficult relationships or jobs that haven't worked out that got you to where you are. So don't bring up too much. And then I wouldn't go too deep. That first date, that first interview, we're not going to really talk about politics and religion and those kinds of things. I think the same works well for that first date.
What are some safe maybe areas you could talk about, like pop culture? Is that safe? Like what is the conversation that because we want to set folks up for success,
Yes.
right? What would be a successful
I think,
conversation?
I always say interested people are interesting. So know a little bit about a lot of things, whether that is pop culture, knowing what what sporting events are going on, kind of being up on the news, I think is really important. In the job interview, I would make sure that I'm keeping those questions centered on the job. So I'm
Yes.
probably not going to talk about my Netflix binge at my job interview. But if you research the company, you'll have things to ask them about, see if they've been in the news, know who is interviewing you, know a few things about
That's a good
them,
tip,
so
yeah.
you feel like you know them before you get there. That's the same thing we're doing on dates
Yeah.
as well, is
Yeah.
we're researching those people online as well.
Absolutely. Well, if folks want to reach out to you, Christy, they have more questions, what's your website? Where can folks learn more information?
It is thepolitecompany.com.
Thepolitecompany.com is the place to get all the tips and tricks from Christy. Thanks for joining us again. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.